Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome back to Banished. So as some of you may know, when I'm looking to play something in a very relaxed way, Banished is the game that I tend to go back to. And I've been playing this particular level, this particular map for quite a while, and I think I've created a pretty nice city here, and I wanted to share all of that work with you guys. So the start was absolutely exceptional. So I started right here, which was right next to the river, but with plenty of room to start the pattern that I usually use in Banished here. It's 12 by 13. I'm gonna have to switch it up for the next town that I make, because it is starting to reach its limits at this point. But that was also the aim for this goal. This was a perfect start for it. I could start creating a few central housing locations, quite a bit of food to put around that, but very importantly, right above this I have plenty of room for a forester's lodge to get the wood, the herbs and some extra food from a gatherer's hut flowing as well. And from here we've been expanding. Now there is one disadvantage, is that sometimes when you don't provide the road access behind or between the river and the main roads, then citizens can get stuck there, they become homeless, and she'll die off pretty soon. But with a population of 680 adults, 137 students and 128 children, I think we're doing quite okay. We can sustain some of these losses. Now after that I did switch over to this part, because I could basically mirror what I had here, several housing units, although not exactly perfect, but with a lot of food production. And then over here I focused on quite a bit of wood production, some extra food, leather and stuff like that, which has really given me a very strong basis to start out with, and that has spurred the growth of my suburbs. Over here you can see just the pattern working out very nicely. So you get the housing with their own storage barns in between them. Then here this is aided by a market, and then over there we have all the food production. And this up here is what I'm calling the main suburbs. Just look at that, a really maximum efficiency here. A lot of this pattern just working out very nicely, very beautifully. And again here with a market that's supporting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 housing units, as I'm calling them here in this pattern. Really cool. Obviously at some point you need to extend your wood production. I did that here with even more wood, another herbalist and a gatherer's hut. Then we expanded over here again, just keeping the pattern going. This is a very long stretch of just at the moment wheat, followed by an orchard as well for fruits, all the way over here throughout most of the map. And then we expanded down here as well, which looks pretty cool. We expanded even further down here too, which now at the end of the map I'm sort of filling it up with stuff that I need more and more of. But yeah, we get now 10,000 firewood, plenty of that, not a big deal. Up here again we just keep the pattern going, works out really well. And just on the sides you can add the extra facilities like wood cutters, etc. that you need. Then this island in the corner here, it's definitely a pretty good wood production facility. 200 from this one, 200 from this one, and a little bit of extra food and herbs again coming from there as well. So this is pretty cool, I think, to try and work your way to the end of the map. Then obviously you need a lot of wood production to keep all of this going, to keep the trade going as well. And then over here we expanded to yet another island with again housing, food, and then here I am currently producing what will be the final sets of now wood production, because I do need quite a bit of that. I underestimated that a little bit, and so here we're making up for that. But it's really cool. I'm very proud of this city, honestly. Like practically 1,000 people living in it. That's not bad at all. I'm not sure why someone inside the schoolhouse would be homeless at this point. I mean, I've got really plenty of houses and there's plenty of opportunities for people to move in, but at this point it's just filling up the extra spaces that I have here. For instance, I thought I might be able to put in an extra house here, yeah, probably something that I could do here. I just add an extra house and just keep going like that. But yeah, this is my latest town in Banished. It's worked out really well, and when it comes to stone and iron, I haven't produced any of it myself. I imported everything, and this is why I now run 3 trading posts. So you do have separate traders that keep coming through the river to trade stuff with you, and with 3 of them I have really a lot of supply, and I focused mainly on food, which at first I had plenty of, but especially of course firewood is the trading commodity, your currency to import everything else. And my focus has mostly been, especially early on stone and iron, just to keep the production of houses going, because those are a lot of resources you need for that. But then later on we did start to import clothes as well, and some of these tools as well. So that does become a bit of something that you have to constantly manage, try and keep in balance. But with this pattern, everything worked out very well until I hit like 500 adults, something like that. The problem is when I usually do this pattern, and especially early on, you only have really room for 1 worker on every crop field and in every orchard. The reason is otherwise you just don't have enough laborers to gather extra material and stuff like that. When I hit around 500 adults in this town, my food stock started to decline quite drastically all of a sudden. I hit a tipping point, which is really what Banished is all about, managing those tipping points. And then I had to, luckily then I had like 150 to more than 200 in fact extra laborers, and that gave me the opportunity to increase the number of workers to 2 on every single crop field here, which increased my food yields by quite a lot. And so yeah, once you reach a certain amount of population in this pattern, it is very important that you increase the number of workers on your crop fields to 2, so that they bring in like 90% of the yields that they produce. Before that it was maybe like 60 to 70% on the better years, and that was enough when you only have a few of these centers and you're really managing every single laborer that you have into specific jobs. But once you overshoot that a little bit, once you've established that a little bit, yeah, make sure that you keep your food production going with enough laborers in there. I now have how many farmers? 239. That doesn't make sense, should be 240. Well, somehow it does make sense. Oh yeah, that's true. I have a few smaller ones that are out of sync with the amount of people, so that's why I think we have an uneven number. But yeah, 673 adults, 240 farmers. That's quite a lot of people that need to be put to work on your food production. Let's see what this one brings here. Just seeds, we don't need that anymore, we have all of them. And yep, there we go. This is built up as well, so we can bring that up to 20, which is going to bring me a little bit more food. But at this point we are practically self-sustainable. We have a small deficit in medicine, which I think with maybe 1 or 2 more herbalists will be alright. We'll start growing those crops as well, and especially the clothes are actually quite labor intensive, take a lot of room, and it's difficult to keep that up. So I've been importing those along with stone and iron by quite a bit. And then finally, alcohol is not that easy, although it's not very necessary either. But these, for instance here, apples, and I think I'm actually making apples at a decent pace everywhere, but yeah, these empty out of their raw resources to make alcohol. So I have quite a few of them. That actually doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's just take something else then. Let's try plums. But here, oh yeah, that's really too many of these taverns that are using apples here. So let's maybe put another one with wheat, which we've been producing quite a lot of in the last year. But other than that, other than the clothes and the alcohol, everything is really quite sustainable now. Even my wood stocks are going up, which of course these guys are helping out with that as well. And I'm pretty proud of this. Almost 1,000 people living in this city, self-sustainable, and just working out quite nicely. Obviously we have several churches as well. I also have a town hall, so over here that's pretty cool. You can also see the production numbers just roll in and out live. That is pretty cool, but at the moment we're producing quite a bit more food than we're consuming, and so everything is going quite nicely. Let's see what we get here. Yeah, this is definitely not bad. We do get some extra clothes here, so I know that, if I'm not mistaken, 4 is good for exactly 500. Now we can go for 80. Trade, let's do the final 20 then, which is good for 500, which is 125. Trade. The tools, actually we're making those, plenty of those, and coal, I'm just not producing that. So we are doing pretty much everything with the enormous stocks of firewood that we are making all around the town here. And yep, at the end, in the end there, it's, let me see, we're definitely not gonna pick apples, maybe we'll take peaches for you. An extra person working in taverns. After a while, right, let's say that I've built this main part, then the whole suburbs, supported by all of these markets with plenty of wood production. Once you reach the borders though, it becomes more and more about keeping stuff in balance. For instance, my clothes were deteriorating very quickly and the imports weren't coming out fast enough, so I had to produce several extra pastures, and I think that the sheep and just wool clothes, a couple of tailors with wool clothes, is probably the most efficient. To just have them at least wear some clothes so that they don't get sick too often. Obviously you start putting some extra hospitals in there as well. Here again we've got the pastures, all of that to help with the production of clothes. And then now finally I was also starting to get worried that the imports of iron weren't being high enough, and so I produced my very first mine here, but all of this has been done without mines, without stone quarries, and managing to get it this far I think is pretty damn good. We can dismiss you. Let's see what you are trading here today. Seeds, so we don't need you. And this is basically it. I could still continue to expand here, but you can see that here that's that's still quite a bit of room that I could use to expand, but I've already spent a lot of hours on this town. This is actually a lot of work. I don't like to go to the 5 times speed, so I tend to stick to the 2 times speed, which is what I've been using here, and it's been a lot of fun, but I do feel like continuing to expand here is becoming, well, a little bit redundant. I've shown the potential of I think this pattern, and I've basically managed to bring it to its limits and understanding some of the pitfalls, like not keeping one farmer on these crop fields that are 12 by 13, for instance, becomes very important at one point. When it comes to disasters, I've had one fire somewhere, but at that time I had more than 200 laborers, and so they managed to beat that pretty quickly. And you do get infested fields and orchards from time to time, but just tell them to either bring everything in or cut down all of the trees there, and that's taken care of quite nicely as well. And the biggest problem that we could encounter would be like a big tornado that would take care of everything, but every time that doesn't happen that often, and usually you just take a safe game from before, keep building, and then it really doesn't happen. So I've been able to avoid the major damage from stuff like tornadoes in this playthrough so far, without having to cheat a lot. I think I saw 2 of them. They really wrecked my town very hard. I said, alright, let's just take a quick save, maybe prep for it a little bit, and it just didn't come back. So it's completely random and extremely rare. What I like as well are some of the tunnels that I've made, especially this one right here that connects the suburbs towards my town center right here. That's a pretty big one and a pretty cool one. And at this point, right, you can take a stroll throughout this town like this, and it's just full of people, full of activity everywhere. Then over here we can go this way, I think. Yep, here you've got the market. Again, people living in all of these houses. At the moment it is winter, and then when we come to the river, I think this is pretty cool. You've got a school, you've got people chopping wood, you've got the blacksmith over here, you've got the church right next to the water, and then when you, let's get rid of that, cross this here, this is pretty damn busy, right? You've got still some wheat being produced here, you've got some sheep, you've got some chickens, quite a bit of storage capabilities with the trading post right here. Look at all of the iron we have in reserves, that's pretty good imports. And then up here we can go towards my cows. Then again you can take the bridge into another tunnel, and here again you come back into town, and over here you can once again cross the bridge. You've got another one of these, and this is pretty cool. It's definitely the biggest town that I've made in Banished so far, and it was a blast playing this, but still very relaxing, still quite a lot of fun just to do it in general. What is the biggest problem, honestly, one of the big reasons why I'm probably going to just stop this town at this point is if I have to. Now every 2-3 years I try to switch crops on my fields. It's a lot of work having to do all of these crops here, and so I've gone with just horizontal lines of the same crops, but it is still a lot of work to switch crops on every single field here throughout the winter. Basically at 2 times speed, I start early winter and I end late winter. That's how much manual work that is. I'm sure that there are maybe mods to do that automatically or something like that, but I love just playing the base game once in a while, and this is the town that I've built with it. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.